I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm joined by Pam Gerrand, who is a singer-songwriter who uses the sound of music for healing. Quite an interesting performer. Later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute when I ask my guests for their top tip on creating a successful life. You're going to hear Pam's. Welcome to the show, Pam.
Thank you, Shannon.
Oh, it's so nice to finally meet you. I've heard your lovely music, and now I get a chance to put the face to the voice.
Good. Lovely to meet you, too, and to be here.
Now, you were an actress.
Yes.
Performing at Stratford before you really embraced music. What was that like?
Yes.
I mean, I've often wondered what would it be like to perform at Stratford.
Yes. Oh, the Stratford Festival is an amazing place. It's a world-class theater, and it was a privilege and an honor to be a part of that company. I was there for 4 seasons out of 6 years. I took a break when my son was born. But yeah, it's a rich, rewarding environment, and it really was a life lab. Sort of the pinnacle of my time as an actor, singer, dancer. I had traveled all across Canada, really working in almost every province before I ended up in Stratford. So it really shaped me as an artist, and I was very grateful to be in the company. I missed that aspect of the camaraderie of the company very much.
What was that moment, though, that you decided, I mean, at some point you decided you wanted to give up acting, and you wanted to be a singer-songwriter?
Well, and it was never a giving up, it was more a moving into. I have to think back, it's probably a long time ago that I wrote my first song on the back of a boarding pass when I was leaving my boyfriend, who then became my husband. One of those kind of really typical moments where there was a heartbreak, there was a yearning, there was a separation of this love, right? And I was flying off, and I literally felt this welling up. I'd never written a song before, and I grabbed the boarding pass, and it just flowed out of me. Then years passed. I didn't write anything more. I was still in theater. But it was in the 2-year break when I had stepped away from the company, and I had a 3-year-old and an infant. And I went into what I called my hippie moment, where I had 2 other friends. We hung out in the park a lot.
Your hippie moment.
Yeah,
I love it.
And it was just, I had really worked, all through my 20s, and it had been a really structured time. And at the Stratford Festival, it's a long contract. So for those moments where we stepped back and we hung out in the park a lot, I really felt the writer in me tap me on the shoulder. And I felt that, with the birth of my children, it was kind of this contrast, because although I had really less time to myself than I ever had, the creative artist in me was really welling up, and I really feel that that's when my heart was really opening. The lens of how I viewed the world really changed as I gave birth, not only to my children, but I gave birth to the voice of my heart.
Different creation.
Yeah. So it was more of an evolution, and I never really gave up. The acting and the dance of that creativity has moved into just a deeper expression of my own voice, what I've come here to express.
So how would you best describe your music, your singing, songwriting style?
Well,
and of course, we're going to get a chance to hear your music during the break, because we're going to be playing one of your videos.
I think that as the classic singer-songwriter, that's who I would compare myself to. I mean, the greats, let's face it, our Canadian icons like Joni Mitchell and Leonard Cohen and Neil Young, that really write a story and use the power of metaphor and take us to a place where it's like a 3-minute movie. And we're able to glimpse their journey through this really powerful, pithy, passionate moment that a song is. So I think today's music, I have to say I'm starting to sound a little bit jaded, and the fact that it's, as my kids would say, Mom, it's just because you're old, but older, like the music today is different. It's more about the groove, and it's it's danceable, but I would say that my music really it's an invitation to enter your heart wisdom and to truly feel,
Do you think that a lot of music out there doesn't have soul to it?
Oh, for sure. There's always the core to it that is soulful, But I'm really drawn to music and to a song that takes me somewhere, that has a lyric that is engaging and powerful and connects to something in me. It has to have a universal element, and I think that that's where, when I began to write my songs, they have a real theme that speaks to peace and social justice. And there's a real part of me that is a sacred activist. And what is a sacred activist other than someone who is, as your beautiful first guest, Christine, I'm so grateful to have followed her.
Christine Circa.
Yes,
yeah,
Christine Circa, and she's the reason I'm here, is that, you know, all of Christine's tips about entering into the wisdom of the heart and following your passion. I had loved what I was doing in theater. I didn't want to leave it, but there was a deeper calling that was terrifying to me, to step away from a really steady gig with a lovely paycheck to go out onto that limb. You know, as we talk about being entrepreneurs, there's something calling us. There's this quickening, this vibration that says, you have something to say. And we go, what do I have to say? But as over the years, as it's been revealed to me, our sacred activism is that which cracks our heart wide open. What breaks your heart? What is it that you want to devote your heart energy to? Where do you want to make a difference? And so that's where I really feel like when I'm singing, I am singing to that deepest part in me that is the mother that weeps at what I see in the world. And yet at the same time I know that the great mother that holds us all says, we are birthing a new world. We're under transformation. So fear not, my child. This is what the great mother says to us. And so as an artist, I say, fear not, but move into the energy of the heart that says, what is it that I can do? What are my gifts and talents to share? And where can I collaborate? Where can I find the courage and the compassion to speak up, to share my voice?
Now, creativity is something that you know, creativity as a subject is something that really interests me. And you talked a little bit about creation and creativity, really. Mm-hmm. What does it mean to you, creativity?
I have to breathe for a minute and uncross my legs and feel the earth beneath me. Creativity is saying yes to the impulse to be alive and to share what is your unique story, your unique calling. Creativity is the impulse to birth that which is within you. It's juicy and ripe, and a calling forth of what you're here to express, your unique expression of your heart.
Now, how is feminine energy then connected to your art and connected to creativity?
Well, the feminine energy is that which is our deepest intuition. It's related to beauty and introspection and the deep interior soulful qualities that when we really listen, when we let go of those ego structures of, as Christine so beautifully said, what should I do? What do I have to do? What would earn me the greatest paycheck? When we let go of those outward calls and listen to the deeply nurturing, deeply inspiring and energizing feminine qualities, there's something incredibly fertile, incredibly fun. And when we listen to that, those are the feminine qualities that ask us to create something new, to innovate, that spark that lights us to sit down and compose a song, write a book, paint a picture, plant seeds in a garden, to create something that has never been before, and also to trust in the process. The feminine quality is to trust in the process of grace. It's not about controlling, it's about allowing. It's about allowing the energy to flow and trusting in your heart.
So is that actually attracting It's
Absolutely.
like attracting to us.
Absolutely. It is that electromagnetic pull and push that is stating to the universe, this is the seed that I'm planting. And I trust that in this garden that is the fertile field, the ground of our being, our imagination, trusting that it will be watered by the divine feminine energy that then attracts to us all of the people, the opportunities, the money, the resources to bring it to fruition. One of my favorite quotes is the famous philosopher Goethe, who says, whatever you can dream, begin it now. Boldness has magic power and creation in it. So it's about having the courage to step into your dream. As Christine mentioned in the first half hour, we have to have the courage to step into our heart wisdom and to live the dream.
As Wordsworth said, to begin, begin.
Yes, begin it now.
You've got to start. Now, just really briefly, something I wanted to touch on is, how does sound heal us?
Oh, and that's not something I can do briefly.
I say briefly because we only have a few minutes before we have to break, but we could talk more about it after.
It's a whole topic that I do entire workshops on. To speak about it briefly, sound, I refer to sound as a vibrational bridge to our undefended heart. Sound has the ability to bring us into the now moment and into our heart center. So we can talk about wanting to quiet and still our busy mind, wanting to drop into the heart center, but how do we actually do that? Well, sound has the ability, has the capacity to vibrationally invite us into our heart center. We don't have to think about it. It bypasses our clever intellect, drops us into our heart, into our body temple. So like meditation or yoga, walking in nature, sound has the ability to bring us into our heart center. And we can talk about, well, how do we do that? We don't actually have to think about it. It just does.
Is it one of those things in life maybe we don't need to know? It just experience?
It's one of those things that, at this point I would sing a song and enact the actual experience, because it's kind of like describing what does ice cream taste like. We can talk about the flavors, but it's not until we have that taste we can really know what it is. But sound has many physiological benefits, and mostly I can just say that when I've been doing concerts lately, I had a fellow come and sign a CD and say, okay, please sign this to my wife. You can stop crying now, the concert's over. What I love about music is it allows us to open the floodgates to our emotional nature.
And on that note, we can pick it up after the break, but we do have to take a break. And this means it's time for the Good to Know Minute. I know you've got a great tip.
Breathe. Be here now. Surrender and allow. Embrace your adversity and give it ease. Let go of the need to struggle and to please. Love yourself and love your life. Own your shadow and have the courage to shine your light. Breathe. Be here now. Surrender and allow life to move through you with grace.
Thank you, Pam. Well, we'll take a quick break. And during this break, actually, you're going to have the opportunity to hear Pam's lovely voice. So, Pam Gerrand, more after the break. Back to the show. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm joined by Pam Gerrand. That was just so beautiful.
Thank you, Shannon.
The name of that song is Enough Already.
Enough Already.
What inspired you to create it and perform it? And tell us maybe a little bit about that performance.
Well, that song actually speaks to what we were speaking about before break, by way of the feminine energy and creativity, because I went for coffee with the organizer of this Earth Day event. Stephen Lewis was coming to Stratford, Ontario, where I'm based. And the organizer of the event, we got together for coffee talking about possibilities. And with a week from the time we were having coffee, I was supposed to head to Costa Rica. I had a lot of things on my plate. I was heading to a beautiful symposium with Deepak Chopra. And my calendar leading up to that event was very busy too, and this dear woman said, maybe you'll compose a song for the event. And immediately the left brain that had the calendar said, oh, I don't think so, I won't have time. And so we had our meeting, but she left it open. She said, you know, the event's coming up in about 6 weeks, and if you're inspired, we would love it if you would compose a song. So I went home that day, and as I said, my left brain rational nature was going, you don't have time, I doubt that's going to happen. But I went to walk my dogs, and I walk past my daughter's closet, she's got all these shoes. She's the Imelda Marcos of teenagers, right? And I walk my dogs, and I walk out on the street, and all of a sudden this inspiration starts bubbling through me, because the theme of the event was enough already, playing on that phrase of don't we have enough already, and just, you know, the absolute exasperation of our world is teeming with stuff, we're overloaded. So all of a sudden these words start filtering into my head, and this melody with it. And how many pairs of shoes do you need? How many cars? I'm walking past these houses, these big beautiful homes. How many square feet? And I thought about how in the first world we live with so much, and comparatively, you know, 3/4 of the world exists on $1 a day. And in that contrast, this song just was birthed in me. By the time I walked my dogs that morning, the song was done. So the divine feminine said yes to the song, while the rational masculine, organized, calculating nature said you don't have time. So I came home, sat down at my piano, and the next day I called up the woman who was organizing. I said, guess what? You have your song. It's finished. So when it's meant to be, it can come so quickly, and it just pours through you. So it's about trusting in that energy and that impulse. Yeah.
And that goes back to sort of, what we were talking earlier in the before the break, was trust the process of grace.
Trust the process of grace. And that's what, you know, I've been doing that much more in concerts. Just recently, I was doing a concert, and a lot of the details leading up to it were a little bit chaotic and frenzied. By the time I took my place in the spotlight on the stage, I took a breath. I followed my own advice. I breathed deeply. I surrendered, and I said, just be here now. And what came through me in that moment was this 8-minute song about being here now and letting go of our need to control. And it was just literally, whether we want to call it channeled or it rhymed, it was in the moment. I had never sung it before. And when I stepped off stage, I went, that's the gift, when we allow grace to come through us and we don't have the need to control it.
Now, and before we go on and talk about Amazing Women's Day and your role, I just want to say thank you so much for your beautiful music.
Thank you.
Now, what is your involvement with Amazing Women's Day? I understand you're performing.
Yes.
Do you know what you'll be performing?
Well, I do know that I will be singing my song, Love Is All, which is an ode to the divine feminine, the balance of the masculine and feminine, but it's a prayer, a global planetary prayer, for us to step into this place of grace, and for our suffering to cease by coming together in the compassion and the mercy of the heart. So I know I'll be singing that song. I have been told that the day tends to flow and unfold, so I may be singing more than that. We'll have to see. Yeah.
I had the opportunity to attend Marsh Ingles' Amazing Women's Day in Los Angeles in January, which is actually where I met Christine Circa.
Yes.
And I really enjoyed it. I got a lot from it. It was a day filled with just really, really, really beautiful heart, driven women.
Yes.
And I would imagine that this Toronto event is going to be great as well.
Yes.
So, of course, we want people to come on out.
Definitely, definitely. And this is going to be my first Amazing Women's Day event. I, too, am here, not only today with you, Shannon, for this interview because of Christine, but my involvement with Amazing Women's Day is through Christine Circa, because she was the bridge to Marsh Engle, and I really feel like this is how we're coming together. I don't know if you remember during elementary school, we learned about the Venn diagram, about the two circles, and there's the piece in the center where we overlap.
Oh,
That's
right,
what
of course.
the Venn diagram.
Yes.
So I really feel like this place in the center, this overlap, is where we're really starting to really co-create and collaborate in a powerful way. And I met Christine at another beautiful women's event last summer at the Grey Lady Fair, and it was through meeting there that I was introduced to Marsh Engel, who I will meet at this Amazing Women's Day. But I can't say enough about these kinds of one-day events.
And just to clarify, of course, Marsh Engel is the founder of Amazing Women's Day.
Yes, of this movement. And as you spoke about in the first half hour, they've been happening all over North America. I believe this is the second event in Toronto. And having heard Marsh a few times on a few different interviews, she herself came out of an experience where, again, we talk about how our low moments, those things we might describe as our negative or challenging, difficult moments, they are really what shape us. And Marsh's story is quite powerful. She went through a period of great loss, and that's when her heart cracked wide open and said, okay, what are my strengths? She was at that place where you, after the dark night of the soul, you were so humbled that you have nothing to lose and everything to give. And so she really, I think, moved into a place where she was so directed by her heart to really move into this place where she became a catalyst for change. And so I know that she as a leader is energizing and inspiring so many women. And that's when we come together on an event like this at Amazing Women's Day. It's where we drop our masks. It's where we have the ability to feel really safe to share not only our vulnerability, but our strengths. Because to be truthful, the old paradigm with women, you know, years ago, the women's movement had women moving into the suits and becoming very masculine, and really that model of competition was about edging somebody out so that somebody won and somebody lost. We're leaving that model behind and moving into a place where we collaborate and co-create. And so we don't have to have that necessarily that insecurity or that envy model. That's really an old, tired energy, and we're leaving that behind. And there's nothing about that about Amazing Women's Day. It's all about coming together and sharing your strengths and what it is that we want to create together.
Well, sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Now, what is your next creative project?
My next creative project? Well, you know, right about now, there are so many pots simmering on the stove. I have created all the material to do another music CD, so I'm in the process of manifesting that right now. Plus another side of me that works as a sound practitioner that uses sound as healing. I'm pulling together a project that is marrying poetry of the heart and sacred mantra and many of my songs that are a vibrational bridge to the heart. So I'm putting something together now that will follow up. I have a 4 CD set called Giving Voice to the Heart that's available on my website. So anybody that is interested in experiencing what I've been talking about today, you can go to my website, which is www.pamgerrand.com. And that 4 CD set is available there. So it's going to be a building on the energy of that first CD set that really helps people experientially have tools. We can talk a lot about you know, leaving the chatter of the mind behind and dropping into the powerful heart energy. But how do we do that? These CD sets, the one that I have on my website and the one that I'm going to be creating, offer tools to do that. Yeah.
Well, that sounds fantastic. It's been a day filled with some great tools on this show, I think, providing great tools. So, Pam, unfortunately our time is now up, and that really flew by.
It did.
But thank you for being on the show. Thank you for sharing your story, your inspiration, and for that beautiful, beautiful music video that we played during the break. I mean, your voice is just so lovely.
Thank you, Shannon.
What a gift.
Thank you for the work that you're doing, because you're following your heart path and bringing so many women here that can share their story. And this is how we collaborate and just continue this beautiful evolution.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Collaboration. It's all about collaboration.
Yes.